Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Monday, November 7th. So, pretty good day today. Tomorrow is the midterm elections. I posted up a poll on Twitter, on my Twitter feed, and I asked the question, do you think investor sentiment will improve or worsen if the GOP wins and ends up taking control of Congress? And here are the results of that poll so far. Not a lot of people voted, but overwhelmingly they said that sentiment will improve. And I think that's true because I've been noticing as the polls started to show more of a leaning towards a GOP win, there's been some improvement actually in that weekly AAII sentiment survey. Like there's been some definite improvement. It's still, it's still overwhelmingly bearish and very low level of bulls, like below the historic average, but that's narrowing now. All right, we saw like last week there was a big drop in bearish sentiment, and there was a nice little pop in bullish sentiment. It's still below the historical average, but I think that's correlated with news of Republicans gaining momentum in these races, and polls kind of showing that they have a chance of taking control of Congress. Now, I could understand that we'd see a big rally off of this, and I think we're trending in that direction. I don't know what the outcome of the election is going to be. I think it's going to be close, but I do think that if the GOP takes control of both houses of Congress, of the House and the Senate, that we will see a pretty substantial rally in the stock market. Now, whether or not that is sustainable over time, that really depends on the policies, on the economic policies they pursue. All right? I know one thing, we'll see higher defense spending, but hang on. By the way, it was the New York City Marathon over the weekend, yesterday on Sunday. It was unbelievable. Oh, man. Over 50,000 runners. We haven't had that in 2 years because of COVID. So we had the full marathon yesterday. It was really cool. So I don't know what their policies are going to be. Kevin McCarthy, who's the minority leader in the House, if he becomes the speaker, he's been talking about using the debt ceiling kind of as a political weapon, and the only way that they're going to get approval of an increase in the debt ceiling is going to be with offsetting spending cuts. So, they're talking about cutting Social Security. They're talking about cutting Medicare. I mean, these are big, important programs. And that, I talk a lot about Social Security. That's like a massive, massive annual fiscal support. And it's going to be that way for a long time. You got all the aging boomers like yours truly, eligible for Social Security. I'm not taking it yet. I might wait another couple of years, but it might not be around. I mean, I better take it, right? I better take it. I'm going to take it maybe next year because who knows how much longer it's going to be around. These people, they really want to cut it. They really want to privatize it. They want to give that money to Wall Street so Wall Street could play around with it and blow it out like they always do. Sorry for being cynical. Anyway, yeah, so I think if the GOP wins control of Congress, you're going to see a big rally. I mean, the market is short, still bearish sentiment. We have not seen any bullish sentiment readings in any of these surveys that I follow in 50 weeks, almost a year. So yeah, that's got to turn around. I mean, this is the mother. This environment now is like the mother of all contrarian situations. If you've been patient and if you've been buying down here on these dips, on this, this whole doomsday scenario that all we hear about every single day from all of these gurus, right? And all of these very smart people. There's going to be a depression. There's no way we can avoid a recession in 2024 or something like. That's a great call, huh? And it's going to be terrible, and this is going to be the worst thing since the Great Depression of the 1930s, and and this and that. I mean, all of the big shots and all of the very smart people saying the same thing. Now, what's going to happen if that doesn't work out the way they're saying? What's going to happen? What's going to happen if yours truly, if me right here, who has been saying to you guys that interest rate hikes are an incredibly powerful fiscal support for the economy. All right? Warren Mosler posted something. I thought he stated it beautifully. Let me put up the post from his Twitter feed. He said it was an obscene, regressive stimulus. You know, you're giving money, massive amounts of money to people who already have money. But as I said, you know, the money still gets spent. Some of that money gets spent. It goes into the swimming pool. It adds to net financial assets, the total amount of net financial assets in the economy. That is a bullish thing. That is a positive thing. None of these people who are talking about doomsday and depression, none of them mention the fact that rate increases increase income transfers into the economy. All they can talk about is the rate hikes, and oddly enough, I think they're even ignoring the fact that since the Fed has been raising interest rates, we've actually seen an acceleration in loan creation. So even that aspect of negativity that they like to point to, like, oh, you know, it's going to squash credit, nobody, it's not happening. That's not happening. So let's see. Now the surprise on the flip side of this, what if the Democrats stay in control? If the Democrats stay in control, and this is not, I'm not speaking from any personal political, you know, desire for myself. I'm a registered Republican. You know, I don't even know if I'm going to vote, to be honest with you. But anyway, what if the Democrats retain control of Congress? Then I think you might see a big sell-off in the market. I really do think, and I could be wrong, I'm not a political analyst, but I see the way the market is acting as the polls have begun to lean more in favor of the GOP winning control of Congress. I see how some of these surveys are, you know, showing a little improvement. So I got to go with that. Other than that, folks, I don't know. We got to see. We got to get through the midterms. There's going to be a lot of volatility. We may even see, you know, it's a stolen election. That might get going and carry on for weeks. Who knows? It could be a mess. It could really be a mess. So prepare for a lot of volatility. You know, this is going to be headline trading to the max. Every hour, you're going to see some new headline, and things are going to be whipping around. But I do think, like, if the initial results start to show the GOP leading and potentially taking full control of Congress, that we're going to see a big rally in the stock market. I really do. And you're going to start to see those sentiment surveys flip back to bullish. And once they get going bullish, they're likely going to stay there for an extended period of time. I mean, like I said, we had 50 weeks of negative readings. Like, I can't remember a period of time, and I've been in this business for a long time, I can't remember a period of time when it was as negative as it is right now. Like I said before, it's the mother of all contrarian environments. It really is. The dollar was down today, and I spoke about this last week. I sent out my report today. If you want to find out what's in it, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. You could also go to my, I have a new website, mmteconomics.com. I'll put the link here, and you could sign up for a 30-day free trial for MMT Trader. Remember, I'm the only one who has an applied approach to MMT. By the way, speaking of MMT, I've seen a lot of posts recently on Twitter. The anti-MMT crowd gloating and posting things like, gravestones, headstones that say R.I.P. MMT, and gloating like, now can we finally get rid of this stupid idea of MMT? So they speak about MMT as if it's a policy, like as if it's some kind of economic policy, when in fact MMT is just, it says it, modern monetary theory. A theory is a description. It's a set of principles. It's a description of how the monetary system functions. Like everything that has happened, which these anti-MMT people point to as the failures of MMT, all of these things that have happened, MMT predicted. They said it was going to happen, okay? It's a description. It is not a policy in and of itself. It's like physics, and I've said this so many times, physics is a description of how, the laws of nature and the universe function. You can't say, like if an airplane crashes because the construction of that plane was not aerodynamic, you can't say physics failed. Physics would have told you that, if you build a wing instead of that, that curve on top with the curve on the bottom, that the plane's not going to fly. That's not a failure of physics. Physics would tell you that the plane's not going to fly. All right? The same thing with MMT. MMT said, if you have supply shortages, and yes, you're expanding fiscal, and there are supply shortages, you can get price pressures. I mean, it wasn't a policy. This is the thing that these people who are gloating and posting up these ridiculous metaphors, the death of MMT, oh, it's a good thing, let's get rid of this crazy thing. It's not a policy. It's a description of how things work. Just like physics is a description of how things work, or biology is a description of how things work. If you drink poison, okay, or if you put a plastic bag over your head and breathe carbon dioxide until the point that you expire, that you die, do you say that's a failure of biology? No, biology would tell you that a human being deprived of oxygen is gonna die. So, I mean, these people are ridiculous. Ridiculous. And by the way, if you're buying into that, or if you have friends or colleagues who say to you, that MMT you were talking about, that's junk, that's garbage. You see what it did? It did not do anything. As a matter of fact, it explained everything that happened. You tell them, hey, if you put a bag over your head and breathe carbon dioxide until you die, is that a failure of biology? No, biology is a description. It's a theory. It tells you, it's a set of principles that explains the functioning of a living organism. And it would tell you that without oxygen, you're going to die. I don't know who these people think they are, and the interesting thing is a lot of them are very highly educated. They went to fine schools. But they're so freaking dumb, and they're so freaking full of themselves. By the way, folks, nobody watches this channel. I really think it's time for me to pack it up. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. There's zero growth in this channel. And it's annoying to me. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Somebody left a comment saying, you know something, Mike? With all due respect, you shouldn't have a YouTube channel. And first I took like offense to that. Like, who are you to tell me I shouldn't have a channel? But you know what? I'm starting to think that guy is right. I probably shouldn't have a YouTube channel. I mean, doing this for how many years, and it's like there's like no viewership. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. I'm wasting my time. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm ending on that note. Yeah, that positive note. All right, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.